Hi everyone, in today's video, we will dive into the fascinating world of LLMs, specifically using OpenAI's GPT, which is one of the most advanced LLMs available. We will explore what LLMs are, why they are important, and how you can harness the power to build a simple email template generator app for Android. What are LLMs and why they are important? Large language models or LLMs are a type of artificial intelligence designed to understand and generate human-like text. They are trained on vast amounts of data and can perform a wide range of language tasks, from answering questions to drafting emails and even writing code. Today, we will be using GPT, a state-of-the-art LLM developed by OpenAI. It is capable of understanding and generating text with remarkable accuracy and coherence. Let's get started with our demonstration. We will be building an Android application that generates email templates for sick leave and casual leave using GPT. As you know that we are going to create an email generator app, first let me tell you what are the different softwares which are required for having this app being generated. Since we are implementing an Android app, we need to have an Android Studio editor. So for that, you need to go to the website of Android Studio Editor, which is developer.android.com studio. And then when you open the website there, you can see a link called as Download Android Studio. And once you click on download, it will ask for your terms and conditions to be accepted. So you can read these terms and conditions, and in the end, you can just click on I have agreed on the terms and conditions and click on download, and you can see that the file is being downloaded. Once you download the file from your Android Studio website, you need to see this Android Studio 2024 and the version of it. So you have to click on this and execute the steps which it follows. Since I have already installed Android Studio, I'm not going to follow the steps. So you can just carefully follow the steps which it is giving on the screen and try to install the software IDE onto your laptop. The next thing which we will be doing is we will try to create an API key here. So to have this API key, I'm using ChatGPT OpenAI platform for creating this key. So I have already logged into my ChatGPT OpenAI key. Even if you have a free version or a paid version, it's fine. Free version will have the usage limits for your API keys, but still you can be able to use those API keys and have your apps being generated there. So as you open your platform.openai.com, this is the page what you see when the website is open. You have to go to your login to your user profile over here, and then if you see over here, you can see user API keys, right? Since we are trying to create a new API key, we need to set create new API key. This field is optional, so I will just give it as app here, just to say that I'm creating an API for this email template generator app here. And then when I click on create secret key, the key is being generated. So we have given the permission read and write API resources, right? So this secret API key is needs to be kept very confidentially because there can be some data breaches which can happen. So you just have to copy this and keep it very safely. So I'm just trying to open a notepad over here, and I will try to have this generated key saved over here so that I can use that in my program when I'm trying to implement this email generator app. As you can see that my Android Studio is being installed, and we are opening the Android Studio here. So now we will try to create a project for your email generator app using your LLMs. So what is the first step which you need to do is you need to go to File, go to New, and then New Project, and then you can just click on Empty Activity and go to Next over here, and then you can give a name for your app. Here I'm trying to give a name like Email Generator App. Okay, and you can see that the package name is com.example.emailgenerator.app, and this is my save location, and my SDK is the default SDK which I'm using over here, and my build configuration is Kotlin DSL, which is the recommended version for this app. I'm not changing any of the default configurations here, so I'm just trying to click on finish. This will take some time and a new project will be created. So now you can see that the project is open and we have two folders called as app and then Gradle script. So we will see one by one what are these folders and how will they help us in trying to implement this app over here. So we will just open Gradle scripts over here. We have some of the configuration files you can see over here like build.gradle.kts, and then you have libs.version.toml. All these files are actually required for having your configurations being run there. Okay, the only thing what we will be changing over here is your build.gradle.kts file. This build.gradle file will help you in trying to add those configurations and the required dependencies, which will help you in trying to have this app being generated over there, right? And then we will also, this build.gradle file will also help you in trying to figure out or you can say debug or try to test your tool and help you analyze with how the configurations are being set and how the dependencies are being used over there, right? So the only thing which we would be changing over here is we will be trying to add the dependencies which are required for our app here. Okay, so you can see that I have just added the dependencies of your Android and JUnit and Expresso. All these dependencies I have added based on our app here. And once you have modified your Gradle file, you need to actually sync your project, which will help you in trying to work properly with those dependencies. So I'm trying to sync the project now. So you can, this will also take a while, but you can see if the sync is successful or not. If the sync is successful, it means that the dependencies are added successfully. If not, you need to check out on the errors and try to debug what sort of errors are there, and you need to figure out what the problems are and try to fix that. Basically, you will not have any errors there though, because we are only adding the dependencies over here. Now you can see that the sync is successful. If the sync is not successful, it will show you errors in this problems terminal over here. There are some warnings, but we can just leave those warnings as such over here because it's just telling us to update the newer version, but we are just trying to use the versions which are apt for our email generator app now. So that's all about your Gradle script. Now moving to this folder app, which is our main folder, which will help you in trying to add those functionalities to your app, wherein you will be able to add those input text fields, your buttons, all those things, and how to interface between your front end and your backend over here with the help of your API keys over here, right? So you can see that in app we have manifest file, we have Kotlin Java file, and then we have your REST file over here. So we will just explore one by one what exactly these are and what are the changes are we going to have being incorporated in these files. So in your manifest file, you have Android manifest.xml file. So if you see this Android manifest.xml file, this file will help you in trying to give the critical informations for your Android system, and also it will help you in trying to access the permissions which you're trying to give over here. So we will just try to not modify much over here, but we will just try to add the connectivity with the help of one line, that is your internet access. We'll try to add that over here. So you can see that the only thing which I added over here is the user permission, wherein I'm telling that the user Android needs the internet permission since we are trying to interact with the APIs over here. So this is the only one line change which we are doing in this file. Okay, next we will move on to this kotlin.java file. This is our main package, that is your com.example.email generator app. So we will just try to explore this, what exactly it is there. This is our main activity.kotlin file. It is actually the main entry point for your app, wherein you will be trying to define the user interfaces. You will be also giving the API key which you have just generated, and try to have that functionality being added there, right? So we will first try to create the user interface, then we will try to add the functionalities of your fetching APIs and trying to have those request and responses in your main.kt file. So what exactly do we have to do when we are trying to have the layout set for your app? So you just have to go to this RES folder over here. You can see that there are few files over here, drawable MIP map values in XML. So we will just try to create a folder called as layout folder. So when you're trying to create, just right click on the REST folder and then go to your Android resource directory, and then you just try to give your resource type as layout and then click on OK. Okay, so you can see that the folder has been created over here. Now we just have to create a file over here. Again, we will right click on it, go to new, go to your layout resource file over here. It will ask you for the name. So we will just give the name as activity main, and then you can see that the file is being created. So this will give you the layout of how the app will look like. So I'm just going to go on the constraint layout and go to XML because I need to do some modifications in trying to add your text buttons and your radio buttons over here, right? So we will try to add those text and radio buttons over here. Okay, so you can see that I have created a linear layout over here wherein I have an edit text, and then I have two buttons over here, one for generating a sick leave email and the other one for generating a casual leave email. And then I have a text view which will actually give the response. In this text view, it will give the response of my generate casual leave email and your sick leave email. Then what's the next thing which we need to do? The next thing which we need to do is we need to try to modify your colors, strings and your themes.xml file. Next thing we need to do is we need to check out on the user interactions. We will try to modify your colors.xml, string.xml, and we'll also try to add some of the styles for your XML. So I'm just opening colors.xml and I'm just trying to refine it based on the details of your color formats based on how I want the app to be as. This string.xml manages your text resources. The color.xml manages your color resources. Now we will try to create the styles.xml. Again, right click, go to new values resource file over here, and then you can give the file name as styles. Click on OK. A file is opened over there. This file will help you in trying to manage and theme your text. Now that we have created the layout, we will just try to add the API which we created in our main activity file so that we can have that interface being generated. So this is our main activity.kt file. Here you can see that I have created a private function over here to send the query, and I'm using the URL https://api.openapi.com, which is the URL which we used for creating your API. And the model which we are using here is GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then the prompt is query, and then the maximum token what we have defined is 150 over here. Right, and then we have defined the request body, and on response what the body has to be given over here. So it's just a simple file wherein you're just trying to use your API keys, try to send a request and try to retrieve a response file there, right? And you can see that you have created a variable called as API key, and the generated API key which we had generated using our ChatGPT, you can just copy paste the API here, right? Now we will try to execute the files, and we will try to see if the app is generated on the Android mobile or not, right? So to do that, we will first try to figure out if there are any errors or not. So we will go to the file, we will go to build, we will first try to clean the project. It will take some time. Okay, we have cleaned the project now. Now we will try to rebuild the project. So now you can see that the Gradle build has been finished. So you can just see over here if there are any errors or not, you'll be able to figure out here, right? To run this application, we will be using an Android mobile. So I will be telling you what are the settings which you need to do so that you will be able to access your Android mobile for this app. Let me tell you how the settings you need to do when you're trying to have your Android app as your physical device to run this app, right? You just have to go to settings over here and then go to your about phone, and after you have clicked your about phone, go to your software information, and here you can see there is something called as build number. So you try to tap that build number and it will tell you how many times it has to tap for the developer options to open, and then it is asking for my PIN here. I'm just trying to give my password here of the mobile. And then you can see that a message popped in like developer options have been enabled. So how do we check that? Go back to the screen, and then you can see that after your about home page, you have your developer options being installed here, right? So just click on your developer options over here, and then after that you can see that the developer options have been on over here, since we need to sync your app, whatever you have constructed in your Android IDE to this mobile. So what you just need to do is click on enable your USB debugging. You need to enable your USB debugging. So it will ask you whether USB debugging is intended for development, you just say OK, and then you will be able to access your device through your Android mobile. So I'm trying to click on OK, allow. Now we will click on the Run tab here. So we will see that the project is built and it is launched onto your Android mobile. Now you can see that the app is successfully installed onto your mobile. So we'll just check this out. So you can see over here, so I'll just try to give a prompt here that I have fever and need 2 days rest. So after this, I'm just trying to click on generate. And when I click on generate casual leave email, it will create a casual leave email. So this is how it is easy to build your LLM app. A simple app is what we have created here. Congratulations, you have successfully built an email template generator app using GPT. We have covered the basics of LLMs, set up our development environment, and created a functional Android application.